Hello, this is part 3. I'm Kenneth L. Roth Jr. I've already stated in part 2 about Robert Boland of Toledo Door and Window, and I've showed you proof. So as you can see, I'm not lying. And just to let you know, I am a medical student in which the last 2 quarters I've gotten a 4.0. I carry a 3.85 average GPA. I've gotten from WTOL and WTVG 13 nothing but, well, you're just a disgruntled Toledoan. Even though I may be disgruntled and I'm taking this public against the city of Toledo politicians and some of its employers and some of its attorneys and citizens, should not take away the effect of the facts. They should want to get to the facts, for which they're not doing. But I want to elaborate on a few other escapades that the local politicians have put me through. For the following, I will be telling you for what the prosecutor, I don't know if it was David L. Tosca, who was the prosecutor at the time, because we're talking about in the 80s. But to start off with, when the big Greyhound strike was ongoing, my brother-in-law, who worked for Greyhound at the time, he was a driver. I believed in what they were standing for and what they were picketing for. So, you know, it's everybody's obligation to stand up for what is right. And that's the type of person I am. I will stand up for what is right. Anyways, I was help picketing with my brother-in-law when a scab Greyhound bus driver decided he was going to plow through the picket line. I was struck by a bus. I had a fractured knee, a slight concussion. Okay, those are the injuries that I plus a few cuts and scrapes and bruises. These are the injuries that I suffered due to that negligence of the scab Greyhound bus driver. I went to go get an accident report, and instead of an accident report being made, which was not made, the only report that was made was a vandalism report against me for damaging the bus. Now, since when does striking an individual with a motorized vehicle become vandalism? This is just one aspect. Another aspect, or another case in point that I've had to go through and had to endure, which is a bunch of bullshit, excuse my French, is I was charged by the Toledo Building Inspection Department for doing a performing work without the proper licensing and without pulling the proper permits, building permits. And what was so ironic about this is I never did the job. The job was never even done. Why Toledo Building Inspection Department did this is they were doing it as a favor for Robert Ulrich, who owned Fort Construction at the time. Now, in Toledo, and most of Toledoans, I think, will know, if they recall, Robert Ulrich of Fort Construction, he had ran that business into the ground, left many people with jobs uncompleted. He left one house where there was no roof on the house, not even the rafters, and that the prosecutor was going to file charges against him. Now, they did this against me, filing these bogus charges. I had to go to court, had to take off work 3 days, 3 different times, so that I could face these charges. And each time, the building inspector that filed these charges never showed. and eventually they had to dismiss the case. They filed these bogus charges along with the prosecutor's office and took up valuable time of mine. And not only that, but I was arrested for it. Of course, I didn't have, at that time, I didn't have to go to jail. They just did a walkthrough. The Toledo Police Department did. But it boils down to the fact that, once again, bogus charges were filed against me. This is end of part 3. There's going to be a part 4. There's more cases to be talked about. And like I said, just because I'm disgruntled does not mean that my allegations are not the truth. And that this should not be looked at by the Inspector General of the United States Department of Justice, the U.S. Marshal Service, and the FBI. Thank you.